Welcome to another episode. I'm here with Chris.
What's up, brother?
We're going to talk about solar today, guys. And I'm going to be the buyer side, seller side, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons, again, of solar. So a lot of times when we're in a transaction, we come across solar, whether it's a lease or a loan, or even if it's paid off.
Right, or the power purchase agreement.
Or the power purchase agreement. So on the buyer side, there's problems when it comes across a situation where we have to have the buyer get approved to transfer that particular solar, whether it's a lease, whether it's a loan, and when it's a hero loan, it's a whole different story.
Yes.
So let me talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Man.
Con. When it's a hero loan, there's no way to transfer those solar panels from the seller to the buyer. That has to be paid off by the seller. So there's no way to transfer it. If it's a lease, as long as the buyer qualifies, we can transfer that over. If it's a power purchase agreement, most times it can be transferred easily. What I like about those is that you're only paying for energy that you use, so it's very easily transferable to the buyer. The pro of solar obviously is if you have a great contract that you purchase, obviously the seller purchased,
right.
That contract transfers over exactly how the seller purchased it, and if they had a great agreement, it could be beneficial for the buyer because that could be a long-term benefit when they bought energy at a cheaper price. Energy costs have skyrocketed over the last couple of years. Give you a personal example. I have a power purchase agreement myself. I locked in 12 cents a kilowatt hour for the next 20 years. This was 3 years ago. Right now, we're looking at the Southern Edison website.
Right.
They're at 30 cents. And I'm locked in with no increases at all for the next 20 years. There's not much better than that, in my opinion.
I think that's a great deal, man. Yeah.
So talk to me about the seller side, pros and cons.
So one of the things that I've incurred, right, when you're a seller and you have the solar system, whether it's, the loan, the lease, or the PPA, the power purchase agreement, you get a lot of pushback. Like you were saying, if you're a buyer, sometimes the seller will have to pay off the solar system in order for the buyer to qualify. And then at that point, the seller will gain some value. But another thing, too, is the appraiser might challenge that, and some appraisers might not fully account for the value of the solar system. Number two, I think if you're in an HOA, right, they usually have restrictions. So you got to check with the HOA. The other one, too, that I think is real important is a lot of the times when a solar system company goes out there, they start installing the panels, sometimes they damage the roof.
Yeah. So when you do a home inspection, as far as the buyer comes across the home inspector, they might find issues with the roof.
Yes.
And then that's going to be an issue with the seller trying to sell the property.
Right. Even with new builds, right?
Yeah.
I've had some clients purchase new builds, and then, sometimes a new build won't want them to do their home inspection, but then, they have a certain amount of warranty on the roof. So then, you take pictures and then you submit it into the builder because a lot of the times they will get up there and they'll damage like tiles.
Yeah.
And then what's another one? I think the financing part is a big one.
Yeah.
Sometimes, buyers might not qualify all the way, and
I think that's
that
a biggie. That honestly I come across that a lot, where the buyer doesn't qualify to take over the loan when the seller decides to finance the cost of the solar system. So that's a biggie. So be mindful as a seller trying to sell your home because some of these buyers might not qualify. So I think you should dig in and look at the pros and cons. Do the solar panels make sense when I'm, financing them? Yeah. Does the cost, weigh out the options, right?
Right. And a lot of the times it's kind of hard to find people that are going to be honest when it comes to, getting a solar system installed, because I've heard some crazy stories, but I've heard some good stories. So I think, as a buyer or a seller, homeowner, you got to do your due diligence.
Yep. Look for an honest professional. If you guys need help finding an honest solar professional, reach out to us.
Let us know.
And we'll find you one.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Have a good day.
See ya.